You are watching
A
Xirtus.
startup society, ref? That's crazy if they call it that. They're
Startup
just
is a bit of an overused word. What I would like to see is if they actually manage to vitalize the city and actually have businesses open and not only everyone staying in one hotel for a
wow.
relatively high price, you know?
I
So,
mean,
but
because if it's like New York and they got this weird like school club kind of thing, I mean, God only knows, but I imagine that you can wash a lot of money in a place like this. There's such low taxes for businesses, so you would just set up your business in the mall there. No one ever visits the storefront. You say you have an online activity, and you end up paying 0.1 or less percent of the cost because you're doing business on this offshore, literally offshore man-made island. I mean, it just seems like a perfect place if you're actually washing like millions and millions of dollars. This would be saving you if you were washing $100 million. This is saving you $10 to $40 million, right? So it's probably worth it.
I'm just trying to calculate how likely is it that there is not some variant of this type of operation running there in the back end.
Oh, I mean, there's absolutely that is what's happening. Like I would say it's pretty clear when you look at it. There's a bunch of businesses there. So like he walks by malls, there are malls there. There's no one in the mall, but they have like $10,000 bottles of liquor and things like that in the window. So they can say it's the same reason why McDonald's would put a bunch of these storefront McDonald's and strip malls in like the worst parts of the country, so they could say that they lost money overall, even though they had money in like huge amounts made in these major city places like Manhattan and San Francisco, whatever. They lost money because they had to have all these other McDonald's that didn't succeed as much, right? That's kind of the plan.
Well, I'm curious to see how it's going to pan out. I actually have a bit of stuff about China as well. Yeah, but that's coming a bit later.
Okay.
So yes, what we can start with, well, of
TikTok's
course, yeah,
Chinese. That works.
everything gets Ghiblified now. It's always so funny to me how awkward politicians are, because you have a very tiny neoliberal party in Austria uh, called the Neos, and even they're like one of the local, I mean, one of the important, I want to say girls, women running the party, also recently posted, whatever image of her doing a presentation, and she Ghiblified it. And I'm like, it's, I don't know, it's kind of, I'm not even sure, cringe is not even the right word. It's just like so uninspired. Like,
That's kind of the
just
thing.
run
Like
on the trend, you know?
it's
I'm waiting for their ice bucket challenge or whatever it is.
That's what it is. It's like ice bucket challenge level. And I wonder because I think there's so many better art styles that we've already gone through. Like we already saw like 18th century Japanese art style. I mean, that was like the first thing I wanted to do is like here, some kind of okusai or something like that. But I mean, I would like to see more of the Muppet stuff. I think the Muppet stuff is fun. I think if we just focused on the Muppets, but that you could use just about anything other than Ghibli. The reason why I kind of am okay with them using Ghibli, or I understand it, is because Ghibli, what's his name, Miyazaki,
Stabadist.
um, what's his name, Miyazaki, right?
Hayao, Miyazaki
Yeah,
Hayao, I believe.
Miyazaki Hayao. He said he didn't want people to use AI, and it was so terrible. And I think that gets you in trouble. Like if as soon as you go up against the beast, man, like you're gonna lose. So him trying to stop people from using it in that art style, I feel like that was kind of why it was the scapegoat, the one that has to go first, right? It's like a war created kind of a vibe. And I could be wrong, but there was also, I wanted to find it like Humanify, is that the one it was? I can't even find this thing now. Just give me 2 seconds to like search for something really quickly. I'm trying to see if I can find. There was somebody who was super upset about the White House using it. You saw that the White House used it?
I mean, I think everyone's using it by now, but yeah, maybe I saw one image. I didn't like really look for all of them.
Okay, so this one was, where did it go? Here we go. Okay. I'm gonna start at the top. So, the White House arrested a woman
Right, I saw this one. Yeah.
for ICE. ICE is gonna have export this Virginia Basora Gonzalez, a previously
That one
deported alien.
actually, aside from what really happened, just the image looks pretty hilarious, I have to say.
It is super funny, right? And it's like it's cool because this is what AI got out of the picture, and we're getting a lot of these, right? Where it's like, what about these pictures? What are we learning from? What is AI getting out of the picture? Like, what is it learning from this? And this is some lady who was trafficking fentanyl, right? She was getting people killed with fentanyl. So the White House using this picture was like, wow, this is where we're at now. Like
As we're on
happening.
topic, I heard something really interesting from our favorite, well, how do I put this properly? Most unlikely son, Douglas Dwayne Dietrich. People can check out his channel. He's always doing these 6 to 12 hour streams, talking endlessly. As I like to say, probably at least 30% of what he says is accurate. You know, not saying he's deliberately saying anything wrong, but you know, some of the things are quite out there. But one of the things he recently related, because I sometimes just randomly tune in, I can't listen to all of it, and it's, you know, this and that, different things. But he mentioned that there is actually an issue with the VA, which is the Veterans Administration, and he claims that part of the problem with fentanyl is actually due to VA individuals getting more or less unlimited prescriptions because their system is so old. It's like still running on punch cards or whatever, just as we spoke about. And you can like go to one doctor, get your prescription. You can go to the next one, you get another one, and then you can just, you know, collect all of them, sell them. It's getting ground up. And that's supposedly one of the ways that, let's just say, exacerbates the problem. So it's not exactly clear. Of course, I can't possibly know, but especially if you only need low dosages and you can get like 10x the amount, and you can just give it away, you can sell it, and that could actually make the problem even worse.
I'm sure that would, but also I think that like they're finding like hundreds of thousands of tons or whatever. Like they'll find huge amounts in San Diego in a big warehouse. So it's a little different when there's clearly synthetic manufacturing of like by the kilos, like the thousands of like hundreds and thousands of kilos. But yeah, for sure, we have bad infrastructure. Florida is known for that, for doctors that don't check across for other doctors. And, you know, a lot of doctors go to Florida to retire. They just like set up a phone prescription farm out there, put their numbers in books, and then people will call everyone $100 each prescription, you know, exactly. Thank you, Jack. Yeah, this lady said fascism weaponizes art to dehumanize Ghibli, teaches us to humanize. So she's upset that these pictures are fascistic, aka, you know, something she doesn't like, I guess. But Ghibli teaches us to humanize. She's saying that it's wrong to see this art style because it humanizes. It's not just a crime, it's a mistake, right? That's what she's trying to say. To which I responded, to humanize finding life and to humanize and find life even in struggle is a quote from Mein Kampf. You know, so
yeah, maybe the meta on all of this is the question, of course, to what extent is whatever we see on the political stage already a WWE wrestling match anyhow, and it's already so abstract, and this just makes it more obvious, how should I say, how far we are actually removed from any reality in terms of what we are being presented. Because someone could say, oh, now it looks like a fantasy movie. Well, didn't you realize that before it already looked like a fantasy or sci-fi movie? And most likely what's going on in the back end is slightly different from what you're being presented.
Your brain's starting to realize it's all a lie. You're like, no, this part's not a lie, right?